the meetings. And I will confess that there are many moments in the meetings when I have difficulty hearing what people are saying. So I would just encourage all of us to get the mic closer, make sure we're speaking so that people can hear us. That is my humble request.
Okay, and I'd just like to add, I watch all the meetings, and pretty recently, some of them are inaudible, not just ours, but other meetings too. So we'll check on that and see if that's something that can get fixed. Okay, thank you, Irene. I'm moving right along. Okay. I just want to make a comment on public comment. I did some deep diving again into the open meeting law, the Massachusetts open meeting law. And under the Massachusetts open meeting law, public bodies are not required to provide a public comment or public participation period during their meetings. The law states that no person may address a public body without permission from the chair. Public body is legally holding meetings to conduct public business, not to compel public input. Okay, so just so everyone's clear on that.
And I believe that the chair needs to be notified beforehand, not just
Right.
then I want to talk.
And I don't anticipate that we're going to do that.
Right, but according to the law.
Right, I do know the select board does do that, and they have to submit written. They don't necessarily state an amount of time people can speak, but they also do not respond to comments.
Right.
People can say something, but there's no comment, no.
Unless the chair says, is there anyone in the public who has like, this is the time for public comment, and they don't necessarily have to do it ahead of time, but if you have a public comment, put down on, time for public comment on your agenda, then they don't have to ask you ahead of time. But if you don't have it, you should ask if there's members of the public, either online or here, if there's any public comment. But
You don't have to.
you don't have to.
No, and
But the
again,
chair determines it.
again, the select board requires that it's written and submitted prior to the meeting.
Yes,
So,
theirs.
okay, all right, thank you. All right, let's see, approval of meeting minutes, for July 15th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
We also need to approve the minutes for the two more unexpected meetings, the one on July 29th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of July 29th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
And August 3rd.
okay, all right.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of August 3rd.
We were all there, right?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right. Moving on to director's report, Alyssa.
Awesome, thank you. So this director's report is a little bit different, and I can send it to you digitally after this, but it really is just an overview of the last year. So FY26, which took place July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. So yeah, I have my little reflection in the front. I know we have a lot to discuss, so it'll just be very high to high. So I think one of the biggest accomplishments, if you will, is the face-to-face contact. So in FY26, we had 5,474 face-to-face contacts. So that is mostly group participation of events and programming, as well as the face-to-face contact when traveling chef is delivered and so forth. And that is nearly 100% growth from, right before I started in FY23. So that is pretty significant, and certainly, a collaborative effort to make that happen, both from staff, but also most definitely from board, and most certainly from the community coming out and participating in programming. So thank you to everyone that joins us for that.
Well, and thank you for your leadership in making sure that that is encouraged, expected, and happens.
Thank you. So I did a little bit of breakdown, mostly, as of last year, how we did start to categorize or all of what we do in the COA office according to the Executive Office of Aging and Independence. They call themselves AGE for short. And so in their buckets, just as we've always done in the monthly reports, I broke them down in those categories. Certainly the biggest categories you'll see, I think it makes up just under 75% would be the social supports, which includes day trips, food access, our dementia programming, things like that, and also our wellness programming, which is our fitness classes, luncheons qualify as a wellness, our health screenings, traveling chef, and so forth. So again, I think we've created a really strong foundation for those moving forward to build upon. Certainly, by no means is that all that we do. We do a whole lot of one-on-one support as well. And so those are the numbers that we typically see that we report in our annual report, both to the state, but also in our budget meetings to the town. So in FY26, it was just over 17,000. And again, I think we do a really great job logging all of our interactions, but I'm sure there's also some that may slip by. So it's probably even greater than that. But this is, things from one-on-one counseling, be it, from an outreach standpoint of heating assistance, application help, and so forth, on the social programming side of arranging, program registrations, but also program cancellations and everything in between. So that's a great number to continue working with. And as a baseline, I did look at the numbers historically. So in FY19, so that was, before COVID hit, it was about 10,000. And, asterisk there, who knows how, I wasn't here. I don't know how my senior center was being used at that point. So, it could be different. FY23, again, the year just before I started, was 14,000. FY26, the year we just ended, 17,000. I will say that we had a high, can't remember the year in between FY24, might have been FY24 was around 18,000. But, we landed here at 17,000. So, yeah.
And
Oh,
I think if I
great
can, I
stuff.
think also having I want to call it the key card, where you check in.
Yes,
helps with
this
the numbers.
would,
It's easier,
this-
like
no,
2019.
this isn't the key tags tech.
Oh, it's not at
no,
all.
This is
Oh,
not
okay.
at all. This is
Okay.
what the staff logs in.
All right. I
yeah.
didn't know if it was from that key tech, because you had said, I can't think of the word.
My senior center.
My senior center. I thought that was also.
That is my senior center,
thought
but
that's
two
where you-
different
right.
transactions. Absolutely.
Well, that's even more when you count that in, I'm sure.
Completely different numbers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, so those are our log, like when you come in for a program and you check in.
Right. And you can't double those, right? So.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm wrong.
No. Just, yeah. I mean, my senior center, it's, it's not my favorite tool, but it is a CRM, a customer relations database where you can hold all of that information and glean from it, any number of data sets that you want. So, anyway, I just thought I'd put it out there as, a trending mark growing forward for people to use as they would like. A little bit more about who we reached. Our typical monthly reach of unique people was about 240, so that's an average. The majority of people were Groveland residents, 489, about 72%. 65 and older, 89%, 75 and older, more than half. And as we all know, those that identify as female are in the majority of our programming at 73%. And take it from there. But yeah, so that's sort of, You're welcome to read more into it. If I missed any stats that you would like to see, as I said, we probably have that number. So if you're interested in me pulling it, more than happy to do so.
Could I ask one question?
Yeah.
How do we define active? Is that someone that just has any kind of contact? It's
So
someone-
contact with us. So active meaning we had some sort of
some
interaction
sort
with
of
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question too?
Definitely.
How come there's so many females?
I'm not sure.
73%. I'm just curious, is it because male ego won't come to council on aging?
So a couple
know.
things. I don't think it's unique to Groveland. You know, there definitely during our directors meeting, it's something that you know, surrounding and you know, statewide COAC. I do think that there might be some correlation, you know, as evidence continues to grow. Yes, as it is often seen with the evidence we have, when males retire, they tend not to have those same social friend groups as women have typically established in their life and then coming to the COA and that kind of thing. But absolutely, as we've noted in goals past and clearly should continue to be a goal is working on getting more male participants in the programming.
So it'd be
bring your
interesting to
friends.
know the population in Groveland,
Oh, yeah.
like what percentage?
Right, the ratio.
I think that is
Yeah.
in our
I
survey
think it is. and I
numbers,
can't
but
remember
I
off the
can't
top of my
remember it
head, but
either.
I do think it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it probably doesn't match this exactly, but I bet there's also a skew
Yeah.
towards
more
older
women.
females
Yeah.
in the population.
Yep.
That's my guess, but I don't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Well, my question would be, I can't see a whole bunch of females owning homes. So I would think that the majority of females have a partner, a male.
Yeah. I would push back on that strongly. But I don't know.
Yes, there are a lot of, people that are no longer, either they're widowed, they're divorced, but they have their home. A lot of women that are widowed and or divorced.
Yeah. I mean, I
own their
think
home.
absolutely, you know, just statistics themselves is that women tend to outlive their male spouses. You know, so that's one thing too. But absolutely, there are definitely more male residents
Who don't come.
who don't
Don't-
come. So that's what I'm saying, more to come and to attract and to
yeah.
get. And yeah.
As we sit here, two of us whose males do not come. Dave doesn't
Come
come.
where?
But I mean, and I question, and as we saw it in the survey too, I don't think it's necessarily just not coming here. It's like the social aspect in general. You know, yeah. So it's certainly something to look at. Absolutely, and that isolation piece goes along with it. So next were the goals. You know, that the board had put together in regards to the pillars, and then you know, myself as directors tried to put some tangible action items to there. You know, certainly none of these should be a surprise, but I did list them all out. You know, a fair amount of them are in progress or have substantial progress. A couple of them completed, including our survey. Yay. But that's a huge step. And I think, again, really great foundation for moving forward, as we've already talked about in one strategic planning meeting, to use that in next steps for programming for FY27. Yeah, looks like the only one that I marked as not completed was, so to define that, when I said not completed, like none of the key objectives that were noted on the original goal, we did. So increase awareness and connection through storytelling and community outreach. That said, strong push forward for FY '27 because we do have the Seen and Heard project, which is exactly that, the photo storytelling project. And again, hopefully that will start many things, many programs moving forward. Yeah, any questions on the goals? Again, we've reported, on them throughout the year, so hopefully shouldn't be any questions on it, but more than happy to answer later after you've reviewed it too. So
When you go to meetings with other COA directors, are you hearing of any consistent programs where people do get together to tell stories? Because even when we have lunches or some of the social activities, people are telling their stories. It's just not in a formalized manner.
yeah, well, I think part of this goal in particular was to get that community outreach in the traditional form of the
Okay.
word outreach, of saying, hey, I'm doing this. This is my story. Come on and join me, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I haven't heard too much. I do know, and we had wanted to do it a couple years ago, but it didn't work out. I think more along the lines of, I've heard some programs doing veteran stories and working to videotape and tell those stories out loud to people.
I'm sorry,
So-
what kind of stories?
Stories from our veterans, our older adult veterans. That's sort of the only formal one that I can remember off the top of my head right now. about that. Certainly pen pal programs are super popular across COA. So, and that is a really great way. But there's nothing outside the box really that I've heard too much about.
Thank you. Oh,
So those are the goals, and then, just financial highlights real quick. So I know the town's working hard to wrap up FY '26. With that, we don't have the figures yet in the town system for me to pull for July. But that said, we do know what June was. I looked at it just in case there were any changes. No changes marked as of yet with our account balances. I do, because we track it internally, our July revenue is marked in there. Oh, those July expenses are not correct. It was somewhere around $1,000. Okay. I will update that. That was June, I believe. So my apologies. Groveland COA will receive $5,000 from the NCOA. Once I complete the CST program, I will complete that at the end of September. The certification certainly continues with me, so I will, no matter what, submit that agreement to MCOA, along with my counterpart, Joan from Topsfield, to say, yes, we completed our session in Topsfield and in Groveland, and it's really just payment for our time and services that they're giving it to. So it's not a restricted grant by any means. It is you to use as you would like, ideally for programming, but that'll be up for you. And then in September, we will receive notice from the MCC about their Creative Experiences grant. I had applied for $5,000. It was a flat amount. You could either do $2,500 or $5,000. I applied for $5,000. That should support in full the Seen and Heard project, and that could certainly be expanded. To cover that project, again, they'll let us know. They're pretty great on following their timelines before the end of September. If for some reason the grant doesn't come through, I did work it out that the formula grant absolutely could cover it. So, yeah. Any thoughts or questions for me?
but you expect to hear about this Seen and Heard grant, MCC grant, before the end of September?
Yeah, so they'll make their decisions internally in August, and then
Okay.
they'll let us know in September.
Thank you.
And they've always been pretty great at following their timelines. So,
On page 3,
Mhm.
you've got outreach and advocacy. Yeah, that's the word. It's dropped by 30 people.
Yeah, so as mentioned, right, these are the categories that you're looking at are the age categories. And so for outreach and advocacy, for these particular numbers, the face-to-face numbers means our group, like education, informational sessions. And so that just means perhaps last year we didn't do as many, or maybe we categorized it differently for a Shine program. Not one-on-one sessions, but the informational sessions. So by 30 people, that could be like 2 programs.
Yeah.
Like, Yep.
Okay.
You're done?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Excellent report. You've accomplished a huge amount, Alyssa.
It was my pleasure.
All right, on to other business.
Oh,
sorry.
Are we going to discuss?
Oh, there is Nisha's report at the end.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot, I just didn't have my copy of it. Just a couple of small notes on there that I did look at. She put in number 3, Nisha had attended the MCOA outreach meeting. I just want to make it clear for anybody that reads this that each town does the tax work-off programs according to the town's bylaws. So yes, towns could vote to do the things that she lists in here, but currently our town, the town of Groveland, does not offer that veteran spouses can participate in the program on the veteran's behalf. And that so I just want to make it clear. The bylaws are on the town website. Certainly I am doing a tax work-off program information session in September. That would be September 14th. At 1:00. So if people want to learn more about what Groveland has specifically, more than happy to do that. And then nutrition services, the great thing about the Veg Out is that it is open to all and any. I just wanted to note that 80 people is probably approximate, maybe more, just because we don't tally and mark down who comes.
Although on yesterday morning, everyone's food content was weighed
Yes.
and signed in, so that should give a pretty good, accurate number
Yeah, I think from Nourishing the North Shore, we could absolutely
from
get those
Nourishing the
numbers.
North Shore, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question? If in Groveland, there could be action taken so that a veteran spouse would be able to participate in the tax reduction for veterans, who in the town hall would be responsible for that, and who can be one person or a group, or what kind of process would have to
This could be a
accomplish
great
that?
FY27 goal.
Yeah, that's-
Because I would strongly look at how other towns do it, because other towns also may offer it not only just for veterans, but some towns offer it that anybody, be it maybe an able-bodied neighbor could help out, their older adult neighbor, and step in for them. So I would have to get back to you. Certainly as she mentions, it's through the assessor's office and also town administrator. But again, because we have to change the town bylaws, there would be steps to that process.
Yeah.
And maybe, isn't there a Veterans Affairs officer?
Yeah, Mike Ingram.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
Mike.
comes once a
I
month?
mean, working coordination,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I'm not aware of what he does for offering the tax work off. When I've come in, we've always operated separately.
Right.
Thank you.
And I see that something about Shine. You're going to have in-person Shine assistance?
Yeah, so we met, both Nisha and I met with Lisa Rose, who is the regional Shine director, out of Age Span. So she is retiring. However, my entire time here, we have not had a Shine on-site counselor. So Lisa was very excited to bring this to us. She mentioned it in an email maybe last month. We met yesterday, still working out schedules, but it will be 2 people coming in probably once a month, hopefully starting in September, to offer those services.
How difficult is it to become a Shine officer or whatever their Shine person?
I think that's subjective.
Okay, all right. No, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, you do have to
because I
go through
remember
training. I
way back.
did send it out because anyone can do it. It is a significant amount of training. Age Span does the training about once a year, I think. It had been Lisa Rose, as we know, she's retiring now, so her successor will continue with it. I think they did it in the spring, maybe the training, but it's a significant amount of hours just because we know Medicare is it's a significant
Yeah.
document.
I mean, but it needs to be
Um,
someone who works for the COA that needs to be like
No,
on
so
board.
you're pure volunteer.
Shine
Okay.
volunteers, they're like the
Right, I'm just
AARP tax volunteers.
Right. I mean, I'm just wondering because I know in the past years ago,
Mhm.
Lynn Stanton, who was our former director,
Yeah.
I don't know how many
Yep.
ago, went and did it.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
So that, it was right here. And I was just wondering how difficult, if there's a cost, if it's something that we could kind of try to go for.
well, right now, we'll
But if
add
we
to-
have this, we won't have to. Oh, you're
Yeah.
saying she's,
and my thing's always been why duplicate services, right?
okay, right.
Because there are
No, I mean,
instructors out there.
because there has, yeah,
Um,
I'm glad that we're having that because I
Yeah.
think it's important to, when you first go on to Medicare, it is so confusing.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, it was before Lynn became the Shine person.
Counselor, uh-huh.
Counselor. There was somebody else that was here and gave us a lot of misinformation so that now my husband is paying way more for
Well,
his Medicare.
so I think that is something that
Yeah, yeah,
that no one can
right.
fault other than, as with every
Well, it was
professional,
also
well, with every professional service you seek, you
somebody,
got to do your due diligence and
it was
hopefully these
also
people.
part of his, his old school department gave wrong information too.
So, yep, hopefully, as soon as we have schedule worked out, that will be put out,
Okay. No,
to
good.
to the community.
Good.
Okay, on to other business, subcommittee updates, finance. Any updates? Okay, thank you. Nominating, Laura?
Well, nominating would be for our, we would need to find somebody more for our board because Linda is no longer, can you hear me? Linda's no longer on the board. I don't know if we were asked all to kind of think of people. If you knew of anyone who would be interested, somebody from, that you might know. I, looked back at this, everybody's things. Be nice to have a male. We only have the one male on our, speaking of which. I don't want to say where we're lacking. It's not that we're lacking, but, when you look down the chart of the things, the age, gender, race, resources, community connections, et cetera, we are pretty well balanced. There are things that, like, we don't have a lot in our race. We are all except one are Caucasian, and there's one who's other. But that's kind of typical of our community.
Yeah,
too.
I'm wondering, and again, I haven't seen the sheet, but
Oh.
in regards to health like healthcare, nursing
Well,
and that
okay,
kind of
yes.
thing.
So we don't have, as I was just getting to that, politics, nobody. Social services, nobody. Philanthropy, nobody. And there wasn't health on this, but I guess that would come under social services, more or less. Personal style, nobody as a strategist. Administration and management, IT, fundraising, government, and law. That's where we're lacking.
I mean, fundraising.
That we're not the
we're not
fundraiser.
allowed to fundraise.
Right.
Yeah, not allowed to fundraise, but I want, again, certainly your purview. I wonder just having the knowledge of, we can write grants,
Right.
Right,
so in that,
right.
yeah.
But, so that's where I don't want to say lacking, but if you know of anyone who, fits those categories, otherwise we have at least one in every category for different, everyone here on our board is over 65. It'd be great to have somebody, a younger, younger senior, or even a young person who might have some great ideas. So that's, looking at this is why we did this worksheet. I think it was a great worksheet. I would love to have another blank copy for the future. If you have it, because I actually had to use Sharon's and put everyone else's name on it because I couldn't. So yeah, did anyone come up with any suggestions? And if so, you can contact either George or myself with, let's invite so-and-so, come to a board meeting. I think it's important that they either watch a board meeting on television or come to a meeting and see what we're about and have an opportunity to ask questions about what the board does. Because it's not just coming and sitting here there. We're an active board now. We are active board. So,
And that's what the binder does.
Yes, right.
It explains everything, coming to meetings, the responsibilities.
yeah,
So it's pretty detailed.
it's a lot more
Mhm,
in being a board member now than it was when I first joined.
mhm.
I mean, I used to come do my knitting. I can't do
Right.
that anymore. So, yeah, I'd like to get that position filled
Hmm.
quickly. I've run out of people to ask that would suit these parameters. So I'm asking you and COA staff, if you see the seniors that come in or people that come in, I don't know if people that are working in other departments here in town could be on the board or not. I don't see where it says you can't, but
But it would just be with our meeting, the fact that we meet.
The
during
meeting
day
during-
would
yes,
interfere. That would be
right.
kind of difficult.
right,
I
right.
mean, It's one thing if you're on finance or something that
Right.
meets at night, but where we meet during the day, I'm not sure that would go over well.
But there are people who are retired and
Right, but they don't
work
want to
like a
work at
selectman
night.
or something like that.
Right,
It could be.
Right.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there, putting it out to the public if you're interested. You could even call the COA office and they'll let you know how to get in touch with me. There we go. That's that sound. Okay, done.
Okay. All right, personnel? Thank you, Laura. Yep.
Well, Laurel just mentioned that with one opening on the board, we are seeking people who might be interested. And the person who has left the board was on the personnel committee. So there is an opening on the personnel committee. And there is someone else on the board who has expressed interest in filling that vacancy.
Okay, and that person is Barbara Sanborn, and so I'd like to appoint her to the Personnel Committee.
Second,
we need to vote on that or not?
Chairperson appoints.
No, we don't have to.
Oh, no, I mean, she appoints.
Mhm.
Yeah. unless you have an
No,
issue.
No, no, no. I was
Then
just wondering. I was just a
Yeah.
procedural
Right.
question.
Yeah, I had that question too,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Larry, you're on. Friends of the Council on Aging update.
Enjoyed.
I love it.
He's coming over here.
Wow. Maybe we should be doing this by weight as well.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Larry McElhenney, President of the Friends of the Council on Aging. We have our current fundraiser, which is our summer coin drive. Last year, I could barely lift this with two hands, so I know that we have less money coming in, but we still have a month. The coin drive will end with Groveland Day on September 12th. So we have just about a month to add to this. And I do want to remind people that your pennies are worth 2 cents. We have a supporter in town who's willing to pay us 2 cents for every cent we collect. So that's a nice thing to do. Our other fundraisers, we met yesterday and organized our calendar raffle, which is one of our major fundraisers. It happens in November. Happy to report that the calendars will be ready and you can make buy your raffle spot for $10. Those will be available at the Groveland Day also. The third thing is we're working on a concert probably in the spring at Bagnell School. So those are the few things that are coming up. I do want to mention as a side that I also have been appointed to the Community Preservation Committee. And while the Community Preservation Committee does not have a representative from the Council on Aging, I do feel that I could be a conduit if anybody has information. For those of you who don't know, I know on your tax bill, you get a little bit of a surcharge of 3% of your house value above the first $100,000. But I was, and the town collects that money and uses it for 4 purposes. One is to support housing. One is for historical preservation. Another area is recreation. And a fourth area is preserving open space. What attracted me to this committee was the fact that it's made up of members of many different boards in town. So there's somebody from the Planning Commission, the Conservation Commission, the Recreation Council, the Historical, the Finance Committee, Selectmen, and I've been appointed as a kind of an at-large community member. Looking forward to that work. They have started the process of accepting recommendations for how these funds are spent. You can find that information online. If you just have an idea of something that would work in this town in those 4 areas, come to that board meeting and make your presentation, and we will support you through that process. I do also want to thank my fellow committee members from the Friends who have worked really hard the past year to raise the funds that help support the Council on Aging. Have any questions?
I would like to add, just so that I know there's a lot of confusion with CPC funds,
Mhm.
at the state matches too, at some rate. It's not just from our taxes. So I know a lot of people want to lower that. And I'm not getting political, but the state matches
Mhm.
or doubles. I don't know what exact, but there's more money than what's taken out of you that goes towards these projects.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, that's important. Oh, very good. And I'm pleased that you're doing this.
Indeed.
Mhm. Yes, excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good for you.
All right.
Any other questions? All right. This jug is right at the door when you come into town hall, so fill it up.
Dollars accepted as well.
That's right.
Thank you, Larry, for all your hard work
Yes.
and dedication.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right. All right, moving on to other. I did want to,
Wait a minute. I
Oh,
have a
sorry.
question. I should have mentioned it, I guess, during personnel. Do we have anything to report? Are we not searching for a van driver? But we have nothing to, but it has been posted.
Sorry.
And then are you skipping over search committee update on the agenda?
No.
You went to
You
other.
just said other.
Yeah.
That's a
Search committee update. Okay. All right. Yes, search committee update.
A search committee has been formed. Step number one is to finalize the posting. And then the search committee will also be developing questions, working to develop questions for the candidates. The chair of the search committee has already met with our town administrator to get the steps that need to be followed.
Do we have a full search committee?
My understanding is yes. Barbara Sanborn is the chair.
Yep.
My understanding is that she considers it a full committee.
Okay. And at some point, I guess that might be shared with us, who's on the committee? Perhaps?
I think it's already
Perhaps.
been shared.
I,
For some reason, I thought I got it like Larry, I don't know.
yeah, Larry's on the committee, Annie Schindler. I hesitate to
Well, I
mention
know,
names
that's why
because
I'm
I can't
saying,
remember everybody. I don't have the
like
list.
that At some point,
Yeah, I
that
don't think I got any.
should probably be shared with the board.
Indeed,
We
okay.
should know that.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think I got
That's-
anything about it.
I mean, people do ask us questions and.
Yes, it's only been in the past day or two that people who were approached to fill all the slots in the search committee have in fact responded and given dates for, common dates for meeting times. So it's just taking the first steps or two. Oh, thank you. So Barbara Sanborn is chair, Annie Schindler, Darcy Lepore, me, Judith Gosby, and Larry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I would have forgotten somebody. Thank you, thank you.
All right.
And we all have each other's backs.
Right?
Yes,
Is Judith the community member? Yes.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, any other questions about that?
No.
Okay.
Have they set a salary range?
That's not our concern. That's the
Yeah,
town
And also the
administrator.
salary's been, I mean, it's part of town budget,
Yeah.
so.
We leave that part blank when we prepare the posting.
All right, I'd like to discuss something under other. Let me see. The town administrator has suggested an assessment of the department, the COA department. She's currently working on developing a scope for the assessment in order to determine the appropriate approach and objectives. And I think you all received a copy of that. So at this time, if you have any questions, or I probably can't answer them, but I will write them down.
I guess my first question was, has this been done within Groveland before for other town departments? Or,
Don't know.
I don't
I guess
know.
that would be Rebecca, probably.
just
Have
curious about that.
Okay. Okay. Did you have a concern about that, Deb, or is just a question?
Just a question.
Okay.
Is it like a new
Mhm.
process that is
Mhm.
being planned? Or is it a reaction to a situation?
I think, she mentioned because of the turnover, and of course, our biggest turnover is Alyssa leaving. concerns that people have. It just seems it's a good time to do it as we are looking for someone to hire for the director's position.
And this may have been in the draft, but if it was, I missed it. Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Like how long? I mean, I know obviously if this would be something I'm assuming that would be put out to bid with a consultant, but do we have any idea of how long this would take to do? And how soon it could be scheduled? I just, my question, I guess my only concern, I mean, I never think it's a bad idea to collect this kind of information and to document things. I think that's always a good idea. I guess my concern is the plan to do this prior to hiring a new director or prior to searching for a new director, because it could
Impact.
very much slow down, and maybe rightfully so, that might not be a bad thing, but I think I would like to understand the impact on the operation of the Council on Aging, and where this falls, or is this something that we could do as a new director was coming on board? Or is it something to be done prior? That was, I think, my biggest
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
question about that I didn't
Yeah.
understand.
Those are all good questions, I think, and questions that Personnel Committee has asked too, but we don't have the answers to them yet because it's not finalized, that it will even happen. It's
Rebecca- I'm sorry.
proposed, I think might be the right word.
Yeah, Rebecca has met with the consultant. She did send him the draft. She was waiting for him to review it, and then go from there. It is just a draft. There will be a cost. So, that's something to, take into consideration. But hopefully it will move forward. I think it's a good time, to do it. Whenever that is, as you suggested, Deb, maybe, waiting.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't fully understand, again, because I haven't been involved in these conversations that you all have been involved in, is I don't understand the true purpose. Is it to help us find a correct organizational structure? Is it to help us define the role better for a new director? Or is it?
Reorganizing
Yeah,
everything.
I don't, not sure I understand the timing.
And I kind of have the same concerns. I think this is great, and I
Yeah.
think it should happen. Maybe it should have happened a year ago. I mean, we are in the process, this could delay. You can't hire somebody new if everything's going to be changing. They're being hired with this in mind, and now, oh, by the way, we changed everything. That person could very easily walk out the door.
So
know?
I just want to put it out there for a different perspective.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
And this is just my perspective, having gone through that search process, recently, is new director wants to come in, knowing what's going to be fixed for them. If they are a competent director, they have watched all of the board meetings, they have read all of the minutes, and so they'll know what exactly is going on. Would you want to walk into that? I don't know. So, and certainly I went through that process myself where I was like, no, I'm going to step away from that one because it's not just where I am in my journey. I don't want to fix anymore. And so I think personally having that done, and I don't know who brought it up or by what the impetus was, but I think having a clean slate for the new director to walk into might be really nice. But again, just my own narrow perspective on that not being here. So.
Well, but this might take 3 months, 4 months, a half a year, I don't. I
Yeah,
have
but
no
then do you
idea.
want to have another director quit because they're like, oh, not working for me?
Right.
Just food for thought.
I know.
That's all.
Yeah.
Having been through where there was no director for a few months, I mean, yeah. I just,
I mean, yeah,
and not that I just want to hire off the bat, you know,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
on
no,
that
no.
committee.
That's what I
because-
think, I just would like to understand that. I'd like
Yes.
to know
Mhm.
what exactly we're doing. It's difficult as a board member to be able to intelligently respond, question, or even vote if we feel like we don't have all the information that's behind something.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And I do echo Laurel's concerns. We have an obligation as a board to make sure that the Council on Aging continues to function and accomplish its mission without a director.
Right.
But that's not easy,
We are not
done it.
prepared to do, we've done it. And
it's not easy.
And when we did it, the COA wasn't as, I want to say, not advanced, I don't know.
We have a
the word.
lot, put it
We
this
have a
way,
lot more going on right now
and we have a lot,
than we did.
the risks of us not fulfilling that are much greater than they were before we hired Alyssa,
Right.
because so much more has been done.
Yes,
And the Council on Aging is doing so many wonderful, wonderful
more
programs
things, right.
and providing such an amazing service to the people in Groveland. 3 years ago, the Council on Aging was still providing services, but I feel like there was a little less that we,
A lot less.
yeah. The
Can I-
risks of not providing those, I don't think were as great.
Can I just put it out there again? Certainly, this is not. I'm just tossing it out there because that's really what it is. I had mentioned, and again, it's not for me to decide any which way, but maybe hiring a temporary, just like administrator, to do the stuff, and that way,
I'm kind
it gives time to if the town decides to move forward with that consultant or whichever way, maybe it just gives the board time to really think through on your own and have these questions answered. And so that you aren't feeling rushed to hire too quickly. I don't-
I don't
know.
know if that's a possible thing. I know we had an interim director at the library when,
Yeah, I wouldn't even
Years
say, I
ago.
know I've talked to
Maybe not
Rebecca
calling it
about an
director,
interim,
but
but yeah, just a temporary
somebody who had
administrator.
somebody who
Yeah.
had done it, kind of knew about things, but not really a retired director, or somebody that will come back and do it for a few months or whatever. At least knows the operational.
Yeah, the timing here
Mm.
is certainly not ideal. The town administrator has made observations that have prompted this investigation to be held, to go forward. And we find ourselves in a position where we do need to replace an administrator. It's just the way everything has fallen into place, and it just happens to be at the same time. But the investigation is really being prompted by observations by the town administrator.
And I think, I don't have it with me, but I sent everybody the email from Rebecca that stated pretty much the reasons for it. Do you have that, Laurel?
I do, let me find it.
You want this one?
No, it wasn't. the
No,
draft,
no, it was a letter that
before.
Rebecca, or an email that Rebecca had sent to me.
Hold on. Okay, here it is. You want me to read it?
I'm
Aloud?
sorry.
Here it is, if you want me to read it.
Would that be helpful?
I read it. I
Oh.
read it.
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
didn't,
Didn't answer the questions or
um,
why it's being done?
Does it answer the question of purpose?
In light of the, well, it says, in the light of the upcoming transition and the changes that have occurred within the department, I believe this is an appropriate time to take a broader look at the department's operations and needs. As we discussed, the purpose of this effort is to develop a better understanding of the department, including its operational needs, organizational culture and work environment, workload, capacity, and current staffing levels. And then she goes on to, an objective third-party assessment and moving on from there. And again, it's ultimately dependent on the cost. I mean, I don't know if that's a town cost or from our budget, our COA budget.
Oh, I don't know. She said that she would try to make it happen.
Okay. So that's what the
Yeah,
email.
no, I read those words.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it for the general public who did not see that.
Yes, I read that. I read those words.
It's a public document, but this way we don't have to print it out if people
Yeah.
ask.
And that's fine. Yeah, so we can, ask Rebecca for more specific clarification on why it's being done. I don't know, some things are confidential. So,
And
you know.
timing, I think we understand why or the need for it as we go forward. It's almost too bad that it's all happening at the same time.
Well, it's never a bad idea to collect. this
Right,
kind of
correct.
information. It's
Definitely.
always a good thing.
yeah, I'm sure, I can't remember, I can't find it on this, but, that the expectation was if the assessment is done, they're going to make recommendations and they're
Yes.
going to, say what's working, what's not, that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's informational for us. So, all right.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody other questions, comments?
Do we have any contingency plans for October 1st when Alyssa's not in the Council on Aging office?
Sharon works.
No, we're working on that. We're gonna know, have a list specifically of what we're gonna do. I think we talked about, and this is something for discussion too, that, until we hire somebody new, basic services will be provided, through Nisha, through us, but not programming, not all of those things. We weren't qualified. There's a liability for that, so, and it would take an tremendous amount of work on everybody's part.
I would just remind you that the COA does have an assistant director, and part of those duties is to fill, just like if I'm out on vacation, that person, fulfills those duties to a certain extent, so.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I think we can all assume outreach services will certainly continue because we have an assistant director in place. And some of these, I'm looking at the calendar for October, and so many of these are provided by, Laterno's been here before for the COVID and flu vaccine clinic. So they're familiar with what goes on
Yeah.
there. And the dementia skills coffee, am I looking at the right? Yeah, the dementia skills. So many of these are already in place.
Yeah.
Seen and heard, board will cover and coordinate and welcome as ambassadors
And that's set up.
and information givers. And, then it will be interesting to see what happens as of November 1st.
So I did try to intentionally plan, one is a whole lot lighter in October. So just to clarify, and thank you for bringing it up, the flu and COVID vaccine clinic is fully run through the the Board of Health.
Ah,
Put it in here because it's definitely worthwhile to share. But again, if people do have questions, contact the Board of Health. That said, you don't need to register ahead of time. You can just walk on in. So they will fully take care of that. Nisha is more than capable to run a movie. And, you know, other than that, we're good to go. Dementia skills, you know, I feel like that's a pretty important outreach service.
Mhm.
Again, they just need chairs and they can pull them out to sit and chat. And there's 2 small trips that check in and out and you'll be good to go.
Hmm.
And thank you very much to Laurel and Irene for taking on the Seen and Heard Gathering project. That should be awesome.
That's my agenda. Okay, anything else on that?
Alyssa, in your networking, do you have any possibilities of somebody to replace you?
Not at all.
honest question, honest answer.
Uh,
Mhm.
I figured she
Yeah.
networks more than we
Indeed.
did in that field,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Happy.
But I do think, to George's earlier question about what our backup plan is, it is, I think, the board at some point, I mean, I hate to put all the work on the personnel committee to do all this.
Mhm.
They're gonna have their hands full, and the search committee. But at some point, I do think we need to sit down and say, okay, what is going to fall through the cracks? And how can we mitigate that? I mean, things like the newsletter. I mean, there's things, we don't want to not have a newsletter. It seems simple, but and again, it's certainly, you know, maybe not as critical as many of the programs that we do, but it's a brand for us now, and it is so much better than what used to get sent out. I mean, and that's just one example. I think at some point, the board needs to sit down
Mhm.
and say, you know, hopefully with Alyssa, before she leaves, and say, okay, what is not going to get done? What do we need to prioritize to make sure that those things do get appropriately communicated to the assistant director, so the assistant director has a clear understanding of what the board is prioritizing for actions, because something's going to give.
Mhm.
We just don't have, you know, we just don't have the people. And
Or the knowledge to do a lot of it.
Mm.
and we're not
The knowledge.
qualified for many
Right,
things.
right.
So it's not like we can fill it all with volunteers.
Right.
But I do think that is a very important discussion to have, and the calendar is,
I mean, even when you're looking at budget and all of that annual report, all of this stuff has to be done.
So I'm doing the
You did
annual
the
report.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Budget, I mean, you know, it's 4
I mean,
lines,
the
so.
budget
Right.
can be fairly,
Can
fairly
be,
straightforward. You know, they can
I've
tell
been
us
there,
what
done that.
percentage. But I mean, as far as prioritizing what things absolutely need to happen, what things can happen with volunteers without any risk,
Hmm.
and what things we're just not going to do. And then that needs to be communicated,
Mhm.
both within the COA staff and also to the COA
Or-
community. So I would like to, and I'm hesitant to wait until September 16th to do that.
So I have been sort of keeping track of absolutely in agreement of all the things that I'm doing. And, you know, as I've gone throughout these 3 years, I've written many a how-to documents just because that's how I best learn. I did touch base, you know, just casually with Sharon this morning about, yes, we want to make sure, number one, that it's communicated board to staff about who's responsible for what. And yeah, with my task sheet, you know, in hand, who's going to do what, and or, you know, including maybe not at all. For the newsletter specifically, I do think Tanya, you know, we've talked about it. I've talked about it with her, and I think that she'll be able to take a pretty big lift on that and maybe tag team with Irene, but that should be
But again,
good.
the
Many
entire
things.
board needs to
Yeah.
understand this.
Mhm.
That's becoming a bit
Right.
of a concern for me, that we all have to speak with the same voice. We all have to know what those priorities are.
Mhm.
You have a public comment, a public question over here.
I suggest that maybe I suggest that maybe an ad hoc committee, a transition committee be appointed. And then they could do the legwork and present it to the board.
I think it's a great idea.
Ooh. We want you back.
Any discussion on that? What do people think about that?
I think that's,
And how, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody willing to be on that? Deb, okay. Okay, I will, and Laurel, okay,
I will.
okay, all right.
oh, wait a minute.
Well, then
One,
that's a
two,
whole
three.
board.
That's, we can't, we
Okay.
can't. Okay, I'll drop out.
Wait a minute.
You three.
Well,
But you're already on the search committee. You're already on the personnel committee.
I'm not,
but I'll need to be
Irene is.
Talking to Irene.
informed about Canva and the newsletter, which you can do for me.
Well, I think
Well-
it's not so much finding out how to do all these things.
Right.
It's to find out what needs to be done. And then at our next meeting, okay, I decided I'm gonna do this. You wanted to do the, I'm not, maybe you don't want to, but you
Well, we just say
will.
it's covered. We're saying.
It's covered.
we
These
have-
are the things,
We
these.
have
are the
Alyssa's
coverage.
binder of how-tos. We have, these are our priorities. This has been communicated to the assistant director and to the program coordinator and to the van driver. I think it's,
And then
and then the board,
what is this board, what individuals are going to assist with whatever we can from there?
what are those things?
I mean, right
Not
now, we know newsletter, and Irene, you've done it, you're the newsletter.
Oh, but not in this kind of form.
No, but if you assist, with the
Yeah.
making of it, you know what I'm saying? So that as Alyssa.
I know what
did
you're
it,
saying.
and Yeah.
So you can.
I think
you
we
can
all have our
cross me
strengths,
off if
too.
You want.
Right,
No.
and I don't
Because-
think that we
I know.
necessarily have to cover, we can't cover everything.
And
Because there's things that we're not qualified to do. And then we-
exactly.
So, but I think we all need to know that. So,
Mhm.
yes, I would be
Okay,
happy to be on that. I mean, I don't think it's going to take us that long. I think it's a sit down
Mhm.
with Alyssa,
right,
And we'll
And
give
then
you
it's
some
a-
time to do that.
yeah. a documentation of
Mhm.
where we stand, so that at the next board meeting,
Yeah, I think the longer piece would be just the walking through of any of the people that are taking on
Individuals,
something.
right.
Yep.
Hmm.
all right. All right. So we should schedule that,
Yeah.
maybe after the meeting or
Yeah.
right now, whatever works,
After the meeting.
after the meeting, okay.
I mean, yeah, because I'm away all of next week. And then I'm actually away, am I away? I'm away on the next
Calendar.
16th, I think.
Okay.
I think I leave on the 16th, so don't even think I'll be at the next board meeting.
Oh, but you'll have,
But I
have the
can
notes.
turn in a report.
Yeah, let's do it
I
after.
think I traveled.
People watching don't need to know when. We'll do it after the meeting. They don't
Okay.
need to know when.
All right, okay.
I mean.
All right, so just so I'm clear, Deb, you're on the committee?
Yep.
Laurel, you said you're on?
Yep.
Irene, you want to, I know you have a lot on your plate.
Well, what are the number restrictions?
Right, we can't have 4 of us there.
Yeah.
because-
Oh, right.
Unless
right.
you really want it, I'll go off. I have other things I
Right.
can do. I'm just trying to be helpful. That's all.
Okay.
So she's off or on?
At the moment, I'm on,
You're on, so I'm off.
I guess.
Fine.
Trying to look. and see.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have 3.
Well, I
but-
don't think we can't have more than 3 because then we're a
Can't have more than
quorum and
Right,
it's a
exactly.
board meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Then it has to be-
Well, and Irene was, I know she's full up with
know.
everything. So,
Concerned about that, Irene.
Yeah, me too, a little bit.
so shall we go with Laurel?
Sure.
Okay, Laurel, you're going to be on.
I'm on.
All right.
Nobody wants me. It's like, oh.
All right. Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. I think any other discussion on that? Okay, we're gonna move on. I've lost my agenda, so,
Oh, wait a second.
Discussion of
I should
COA
have another
board
one.
key results.
okay, there we go. Okay. All right, the focus areas, the August meeting focus areas, discussion of COA board key results, FY '27.
And that's the second piece of paper I gave you. It's our draft.
Yep.
With space for working and taking notes.
Oh,
Provided.
okay, good. Don't have to look at my notes. Thank you, Irene.
Yeah,
know-
it's right there. Yeah.
Okay, can I circle back just 1 minute? I do want to emphasize that the assessment that we've been talking about is only a draft. So the public is aware, and, you know, they're aware of what it is now,
Oh, the,
the evaluation, the assess. I'm
Oh, the
sorry.
investigation?
Yeah, all those
reorganization?
words.
the reorganization?
Yes.
Draft? Yes, it's a
Yes.
draft.
Okay,
yes.
it is
Not
just a
necessarily a
draft.
reorganization.
Well,
Not
it's called that.
Necessarily,
That's
right.
an agent. Okay,
Outside.
all right,
It's
review.
called a
Okay.
draft of,
sorry, I should have said that. Okay. All right.
okay, so here's another ad hoc committee. This is not my,
So pillar 1 is key results of for COA board, form an ad hoc committee to gather information on property tax relief options for older adults, present findings to the full COA board and town officials government. Any discussion on that?
that's not my forte.
We can certainly have it as leave it on as a goal. I'm not sure how quickly we're gonna jump on it because we've got a lot of other things that have kind of jumped up, but leave it on. I don't have a reason not to. I mean, it is one of the big concerns that came through the community-wide survey.
Mhm.
And that was our goal of doing the community-wide survey, was to
Mhm.
figure out things that we could actually attempt to work on.
Can I interject? I completely forgot, not wildly important, but this made me reminded me about it. I was hoping because the priorities of the survey will be talked about over the next year. I did want to share the results officially with the select
I was
board.
gonna actually
Yeah.
have that question from your director's report and then we'll move on to something else, yeah.
And so, yeah, so that is anticipated to happen in September. I don't have a date yet. But again, so I can certainly, I was anticipating, but you know, how I think of goals clearly is that, you know, life happens and sometimes we need to shift around. But I do think it's important for for not only the select board, but the community members that watch the select board to be like, okay, not only did they share the survey at our 2 results, we had all the survey information out on paper in town hall, it's on the website. But now the board is taking action and hopefully maybe some select board and other town committees will take action from that conversation too. So all that to say that whatever you put on there, perhaps I might share if it relates to the survey results so they can see.
So maybe, yeah, so you're saying maybe get this ad hoc committee going?
Oh, no, I don't think that. I'm just saying,
Oh,
We're going to. do
yeah.
that.
That, just
Yeah.
add this, that this is our result. I see.
Yeah, that
Never mind.
if
Thought you
it's
meant
on
what we
part of your
found.
goals, I just wanted to demonstrate, yeah, we heard you and the board is, you know, is making this as a goal for
As
FY
a goal for the
'27.
year. Okay, I'm sorry that you may get this going for the select. meeting.
Realizing that it may be a goal that this year, that the first year is in progress
Absolutely.
and
yeah.
it continues on.
Right. Because all we're saying here is form a committee and present findings. It's not saying we're getting this by the end of this year, like completed. Okay, yeah, I think keep that on. Should we? I think we can wait on that in terms of forming it at the committee right now and getting this going. I think as long as we make sure it's done by the end of,
Well, let's,
the
let's-
year,
let's
you
get
know,
through-
get through the next couple of months.
Get through the heavy work of
Right.
nominating and personnel and
Mhm.
transition and get through that and then we
Yeah.
can.
Work on that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, pillar two, foster the COA as an open, welcoming and safe community. Key results for the COA board. Excuse me, expand the ambassadors program to formally schedule board ambassadors for appropriate events, document ambassadors' role and responsibilities, develop a plan to host quarterly meetups to foster and build community. Any discussion on that one? We still don't, help me out with this. Do we not still have what that ambassador is going to look like? What that ambassador will do?
We write down a
need
list.
that. We only have,
I don't
I
think
think the
we
way we
need that.
left it was we have a pretty good understanding of people that go on the van trips
Mhm.
and are the van ambassador.
Yeah.
The van ambassador, we know what they do, and I
Right.
think that's pretty
Right.
well in place, but
Right.
the other piece of this, I at least am not 100% of sure of what that is. So I do think we probably need to have a very, very brief training session or something, or discussion about, hey, this is how
Mm.
the board is going to do this. And this is what we expect you, if you sign up to be an ambassador for an event, then this is what we expect you to do.
mhm.
And then we just really need who will define which events are the appropriate events for the board ambassador. Is that something that we would want the director or the assistant director or the program coordinator maybe to say, hey, I think it would be great to have an ambassador at these events. Well, as we've said, we don't really necessarily need them if it's on certain things. So maybe is that something, maybe the
think
program
Tanya-
coordinator might even?
Absolutely. I mean, because she, really is the one that keeps track of who's coming and, so crowd size and knows exactly what's happening when
Yeah.
and where.
So maybe that would be something where she could communicate, on a quarterly basis or something. Hey, these are the ones that I think we should have
Mhm.
an ambassador, and then we could amongst ourselves decide who's going to fill the roles.
Right.
Okay, we do have a luncheon tomorrow, which I would think would be a good time for an ambassador to, because I think it's full, right? So there's gonna be a lot of people. And I guess until we decide what the expectations are gonna be, whoever volunteers,
I would have, but I just canceled the luncheon, so I can't. My company's coming tonight.
yeah.
Tomorrow's lunch for any board member who is attending might be a good time for observing what seems to be needed, what seems to be desired. How are people being greeted, welcomed? Just a good day for observing, a good opportunity for observing and collecting
And
what ifs.
And by observing, do you mean interacting with people?
Yes, and seeing who's interacting.
Yeah. I would just imagine, right, with transition that maybe it might be comforting or peace of mind to have board members there to say a plan is developing.
Is anyone going to,
I guess
it's
it's-
Thursday, so I'm not.
You're going?
available.
I'm going
Yeah,
also.
we're
Yeah,
going.
And I will go from table to table. Just say, hi, how are you? I know you, but I don't know you. Are you enjoying the food? That kind of thing.
And then maybe you can just, after that, document what you thought worked well, and
Mhm.
that can be
Mhm.
Right.
our training.
Mhm.
'Cause I trust you to
Well, videotape, no.
completely document what you think works and
I'll
what.
videotape you.
Mhm. Okay. Alright. So any more discussion on that one? No? Okay, and pillar three, broaden the, oh, sorry.
The
Irene.
develop a plan to host quarterly.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay, so, yeah,
I'm looking at that one, develop a plan to host quarterly meetups to foster and build community. I think that needs some discussion.
Well, I think that was what we had talked about, trying to
Yeah.
do it in different places.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Since we don't have our own dedicated space here,
Mhm.
to try and,
Yeah.
just, have one at VZ Park. Have one at maybe at the coffee shop or something, just have them at different, maybe have one outside. Of course, then it's always the weather is not always conducive to that. But I thought that was what this goal was for, to do them on, not here.
Yes.
And not necessary, and really not a program,
No.
not a luncheon,
No.
not a singer,
Right. Just,
not a lecturer, just, hey, we've got a bunch of tables here, we'll have some snacks, pop in,
Mhm.
chat with the board, or chat with whoever, your neighbors, chat with your friends, and maybe,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And, it's no cost or
Right.
low cost if you
Oh,
go for
maybe.
coffee or something.
yeah,
So people, might feel freer to be able to go to something like that.
right. And if we try and switch up maybe even the days or the times of days, maybe you do one that's relatively early in the morning for people that want to get out early and do something. Maybe you do one that's like near the end of the day, a late afternoon one. Have them on some, not just Tuesdays and Thursdays or, right,
Yeah, and I think, documenting too, which times, which days work
Right.
really well or don't,
yeah,
switching up.
yeah.
yeah. Great.
So I would like to leave this, and I would like to actually move on this pretty quickly, because with the first quarter, July, August, September, we need to do one. Quickly. We need to get one.
Go for
done soon.
go for it, Deb.
I know. I would have to reach out and find out where I could do this. I can always reach out to VZ Park and see about their. I know, we could do the church. It's just not handicap accessible.
Yeah, and neither is St. Patrick's at all. Definitely not.
So that won't work. I mean, it would limit who could attend, and I don't think we
Right.
want to do that.
yeah.
Do it in the sanctuary.
I think VC Park, in the fall, before it gets dark
Yeah,
early and late, might be a nice one. We've really enjoyed our time up there at CST. So just putting it out there.
I feel like
Yeah.
September is just turning to
all right, let
fall.
me,
Fire pit at BC Park.
I know, but then we have to worry about people tripping and falling and.
It's always there.
Can you use the fireplace? Casey, do you know?
The fireplace is in our.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But,
That would
okay.
be nice.
I will take an action item. That I will research a spot for a late September meetup.
Late September. Or maybe where it's not going to be in the newspaper, or the newsletter, maybe it should be October. Oh, wait, this is
This is
September,
already in
October.
September and
July,
October
August.
newsletter.
Okay, yeah, it's
And-
September, October. Never mind, sorry.
We'll just, I mean, we have the robocalls, we can put it out, it can go on Facebook.
Okay. Thank you, Deb.
I will
Excellent.
research that and get back to everyone about what I find out. And we had also talked about the possibility of doing one at the Pines
Yeah.
residence.
Well, that's what I was just thinking too. Again, just knowing, being out in the dark is a little bit more of a challenge, even though one lives there, it can be a little bit.
I'm sorry, I really can't hear.
It's okay. So I was thinking maybe Pines might be better earlier than later. I do know that it's a challenge for some residents to leave or to navigate when it's dark outside. That's all I was saying. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing it in the middle of the day, then I guess it doesn't matter. So, but yeah, just something.
Nighttime one. she said.
Yeah.
We could do the nighttime one in the summer.
Yeah, and I'm not even
June when
saying
it's
that.
light
Yeah,
again.
that could certainly be. All right, let me make myself a note here so I actually remember to do this.
Thank you, Deb. All right, perfect. All right. Any other discussion on that? Okay, pillar 3, broaden the COA's community connections, key results for COA board, expand COA communication outreach. We talked a little bit about that. wonder if we could speak to other groups in town. I don't know if there's like a Lions Club or Elks or any of those kinds of organizations.
I don't think so anymore. The Knights of Columbus closed down. There's a Georgetown has a very active Kiwanis Club, but that's Georgetown.
Knights of Columbus, I think, still exists, but they're basically centered in Bradford.
Yeah, at Sacred Hearts.
Yeah.
Masons too. There's a Haverhill and Georgetown Masons, but
Um,
you're looking at that.
yeah, this is kind of
What
a
if- what
a
if
bit of
we-
a
what do-
nebulous goal.
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
we mean by?
I don't know. It sounded.
What
good when
does
we
this
hired
mean?
people,
Well, I'm
and
sitting
I
here
think-
thinking, okay, communication, do we want,
Well, we talked about maybe mailing, doing an annual mailing or
Right,
a
right.
semi-annual mailing of the newsletter to everyone over 60 in Groveland. We had talked about that. That was one idea that got brought up
Right.
under this.
Yeah, I think we were, if I'm remembering the conversation, it was just using different modes of communication, I guess,
so it wasn't necessarily trying,
or expanding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking as I see this, it's like, okay, what about connections with other COAs? Too, because we've done that with the trivia thing. I mean, they're there and that's,
I guess I'm just,
communicating
wondering what
broader
what the
community.
goal is.
I don't know if, like maybe doing something with another COA and saying, let's get together, one of those things, invite another COA to one of our meet and greets, or whatever that we're going to call these things, the meetups, or plan something where we can get together and do a fun activity. Like the trivia thing was really fun. How many communities were involved there? Like
What
5 or
was-
6?
What was the goal?
Expand
Expand our
Expands
communication. So that's
COA.
here.
communication outreach.
Pillar was broaden the COA's
Okay.
community connections.
So, I mean, I was thinking that it came up, again, connected to the survey, that the vast majority of people that responded to the survey were not participants
Right.
of the COA. So Groveland residents that aren't yet participating, and how do we connect with them? So love that idea. I think it's great. Definitely do it. I just don't
So
know
broad.
that
I'm
that's
like, I forgot what it
would be
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
towards.
Alyssa, I think, is completely accurate
Yeah,
in her
Mhm.
memory.
Well,
on
even
that.
with,
Yeah.
okay, so does that mean like getting more things together with the library and inviting young people or?
Or how do we reach? I think the real question is, one of the things that came out of the survey
yeah,
is so many people in Groveland that should be our demographic were not aware or
Aware.
were not involved, either because they didn't think they needed it yet,
exactly.
just weren't interested. So I think that was, how do we do that? Because the big things in the survey were, the town infrastructure, which we really cannot ourselves do anything about other than when we have the meeting with the town officials and say, hey, people don't like the sidewalks. And we can do something at least to gather information about the affordability of the property tax side of it.
Mhm.
We can do something about not having a dedicated space by trying this idea of the meetups. And the other thing that wasn't really it was just the thing that came through was that there's still a lot of people over 60 in Groveland that aren't either aware or aren't taking the first step. And how do we reach those people? I think that was. so
Okay,
how
that's
do
what
we
it
reach
was,
those
right.
people?
I-
That's where the idea of doing an actual
Right.
mailing.
So, yes,
But I don't know how to better word that so that
I
we
know.
don't have to have this discussion every time because,
Exactly, I'm
so
saying, what
vague.
was this?
right.
All right,
and I don't know how we measure it. How
Well,
do we measure it? By having new people come in?
I mean, right now, again, from the reporting, we saw last year 489 unique people, Groveland residents, interacted with us.
So
out of,
do we-
2,600.
Yeah, so over 2,000.
I have a tacky question for you and Laurel. What would it take to get your husbands involved in council on aging?
Pickleball, because he goes to Georgetown to play pickleball, he goes to Salisbury to play pickleball that was organized, that you didn't just have to go yourself. Fishing.
He might do a fishing trip. He might do a fishing trip.
I actually am trying to get him to come when Lee does the Groveland Community Talk. The
I
Groveland
want,
History Talk.
yeah.
So,
And I think it's, in my case, it's his personality. He's just, used to be very social. Now he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just can stay home. He doesn't go out. Irene knows this, right?
Oh, he does go out. He goes out and walks.
He walks by himself. He cuts the lawn. He shops every day, knows everyone at Market Basket.
And that's okay.
It's okay.
yes,
He's, that's him. You know, he did go to one activity at two. He did the trivia one time here and he did the pops.
Okay.
That was it.
I mean, I think the first thing is to let people, I think the first piece is how do we make more people know what we do?
What we
Right.
do,
Yes.
right.
And then you can look at maybe what kind of activities, I mean, game day has its dedicated group. But there's also plenty of people that would like to have a dedicated, like different time, maybe for like cribbage. Maybe you have the cribbage group that comes in at a different, but we don't have the space to offer
Right.
very many more regular activities than what we're already offering. But, things like that, yeah, I'm trying to think of other games, but, cribbage just
Well,
comes to mind. 'Cause
I remember a few years ago, Larry saying something about a game day up at VZ and thinking of, was that with this group or was it with the friends? I don't remember. But, having a game day and just, say we can do bridge, we can do mahjong,
Mahjong.
and just come on up and, on a dedicated day, if it's an ongoing thing, whatever. And I think you said like late afternoon when people, not morning, so that you could get people to come. And that might bring some men, might bring some other people who, would be interested. I don't know. We could try it.
Mhm.
But again, we don't have the dedicated space.
Right. How do we reword this one goal? So that it isn't just expand COA communication outreach and
Irene working on it over
how do we
there.
measure it?
Irene's with,
Well, expand COA communication to reach out to non-COA members.
I wouldn't say members
start.
though.
Members,
I would
yeah.
say active,
To non,
inactive.
or yeah,
Inactive.
inactive.
yeah.
Inactive residents, maybe.
Yeah, residents or citizens.
Inactive elders.
No, to inactive Groveland
Residents.
residents.
Residents. Right.
And how do we measure it? With the,
I think, yeah, you
What
can
is
just
it
pull the
called?
numbers.
what's the exact word?
Looking.
Right.
I mean, we just measured Groveland residents for FY26. Sorry.
Okay.
Measure,
So you can, against my senior centers, Yeah.
But that's slightly different because if this goal says whatever
Yeah.
Irene just wrote down.
you're right,
Expand. we can do
communication.
that. It doesn't mean anyone's
With
going to
kind
listen
of,
to it.
yeah,
right,
So we could still accomplish that and we could say, okay, we're going to do it by placing the newsletter in more businesses.
well, so yeah, I wonder if you do that. I mean, because as I mentioned last time, I do have a roster of places that we distribute the flyers. So expand it by X number, dropping off, or yeah, that's all I can
mean,
think of right now.
That's one, to actually get people to start
Yeah.
coming because of that expanded outreach is another thing. We would hope that would be the byproduct,
Right.
but it's not if
It's
you're
not,
measuring whether or not,
you're right.
the goal shouldn't, if we want to measure getting more people, then this shouldn't be the goal. That's not the goal. So
Yeah, so different, yeah.
I think we just leave it as whatever Irene's written. And at this point, then we'll come up and we'll figure out at another meeting, we'll figure out what tasks. And it may be putting the newsletter in X number more. It may be sending out a mailing once a year,
Because we talked about that.
it may be making sure that, I don't know, anyone else that does, that there's a link, maybe to, that other newsletters, that different organizations in town, maybe they have a link to the COA in their email mailings. Maybe you get the electric department at the bottom of the electric bill to say, remember, the COA newsletter can be, I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
just, I think those ideas are for another meeting. But
Can I,
Yeah.
please react to this sentence? And it doesn't have the ways to measure yet. Expand COA communication in the community to reach more residents and increase COA participation / membership, something like that? Yes.
Did you want to include increased membership?
I don't know, I think that's broad because I don't know that again, I'm being a bit of an accountant here, I admit it, but I don't know that we can get causation that, yes, we hope if we increase communication, we increase attendance, but unless everyone that comes in as a new participant says to us, oh, I picked up that newsletter for the very first time at XYZ company, so I came, then that would be great. Yep, we did it. But I don't know that we're ever going to have that.
Right.
Hard number that hard measurement.
So why, let's not make it harder on ourselves. Like,
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
It's a goal. So we check the numbers and the comparison in numbers and see if it's increased or not. And then, we may have to adjust.
But maybe
Later.
not include the number of new people in the goal, is that correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe
I
just
don't
keep
think-
it,
Okay,
like focus it on the communication piece.
Yes, just focus it on communication.
okay, all right.
And
Because they could come in not because we expanded who was getting the newsletter, but because they ran into George at the grocery store.
Right, I was gonna
George
say
said,
personal.
Hey, come on down to this, so so,
And I think a lot of times that's what people want, a
absolutely.
personal invitation to come,
Yeah.
And I also wrote in the community and not in Groveland, because we have been talking about connections with other COAs and
we do.
My
have that
only
with-
pushback there, again, your goal, and I won't be here, is that if we want to tie it to the survey results and say, hey, we're acting on these, that we might want to say,
right.
not to say that you can't go beyond there.
Well, yeah, but we
but-
could just, by saying community, it can
And
be
it
that,
doesn't
or it
mean
can be broader.
Yeah,
Just because something's not on our strategic plan doesn't mean that someone can't have a great idea of inviting, Amesbury or West Newbury or someone to come do something with us. That doesn't,
right.
it can be mutually exclusive,
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be a means of getting this. It can just be a great idea that gets done.
Right.
Okay.
I have no idea what you ended up writing. You could,
There'll be another draft.
yeah, thank you.
coming out. No worries.
All right, okay. Anything else? Okay, all right.
Make a motion
Make a motion
to adjourn.
to adjourn. Thank you. At 11:14. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.